Welcome to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. Are you a goofball that loves Giants football? If so, sit back and relax. Except you, that person driving. Sit up and keep your eyes on the road. Your ears, though, can still listen as we talk about the team that both excites and frustrates us so much. And now, here are your goofball hosts, Drew and Rob.
Welcome, fellow goofballs, to Two Giant Goofball New York Giants podcast. I am Drew, joined as always by...
I'm Rob. Let's talk about them safeties.
Oh, let's talk about the safeties, but let's also talk
Is that
about...
your plunger or you're just happy to see me? Oh, is that your plunger or you're just happy to see me? Oh, is that your plunger or you're just happy to see me? Oh,
Oh, it's not the plunger.
For some reason, I heard that and thought of you. I'm not sure why. So today, folks, we are ramping it back up into our positional reviews. So, we've talked about almost all of them. We had two left over that all of a sudden free agent frenzy happened. All these moves started being made left and right and left and right. And it got to the point where we're like, okay, well, when do we do this? Well, guess what, guys? We finally have a second to go ahead and do this. So let's finish up the position reviews. Oh, yeah. I think this is a safe place, too, to talk about safeties. Oh, yes.
Well, you're talking about safety positional play, right? You're not talking about safety,
Oh, yeah, we're definitely in a safe place for much of anything around here. So, as always, though, guys, before we get started with all the topic of the day here, we have...
It's time for the news.
Yes, we did have some big news here as well, though, so it's not like we're out of Giants news here. The big one, I thought, today was the fact that it's been reported that Saquon Barkley no longer has a big deal on the table. And that's just crazy when you think about where we were at, initially talking about him getting a huge deal of like $12.5 million, $13 million. Now he's got $10 million on the table, and that's it. I guess he just dropped the ball on that one there. I dropped the ball on setting up my lights before we started.
But you snooze, you lose or something.
Well, I guess. There we go. But now I'm blinded by the light now, so.
Blinded by the light. That's a good little extra day.
Now, do you know the rest of the words?
Wrapped up like a juicy mother.
No, everybody thinks it's that. Revved up like a deuce. Exactly. It's not a douche, okay? Deuce. That song does not smell like a warm summer's breeze, okay?
Yeah. Not like deuce, like poop. It's, like two people.
Yes, exactly. But yeah, so Saquon, apparently, it seems the Giants are content with him playing on the 1-year franchise deal and just revisiting the issue next year. Where, for those of you guys who listen on a regular basis know, I am perfectly fine with us just saying, okay, do this again. Repeat the process. You do not pay a running back long term. You just don't do it. And it seems like the Giants are in that mindset, which a lot of us thought we would until we heard the news about the midseason deal. I think that midseason deal was more about wrapping up him or Jones. They wanted to keep them both for next year. And they wanted to wrap one of them up before the season ended. And they were like, we probably have the better chance with a running back than a quarterback who's going to want a massive deal.
Which makes sense, because that's 100% what happened.
Yeah. So, Saquon bet on himself. I'm never going to blame somebody for betting on themselves, but he bet on himself, and sometimes when you bet, you win. Sometimes you bet, you lose. This was a lose situation.
You got to learn when to fold them.
Yeah, so you got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when to walk away, and know when to run. This is like the 5th time we've done this Kenny Rogers thing, you realize, by the way. I think Kenny Rogers has now actually become like the most used pop culture reference that we have on our show, which is kind of funny considering neither one of us I would consider Kenny Rogers fans. It's like, oh, Kenny Rogers is down. Let's go watch Kenny Rogers.
I think Tom Brady still has a beat. He's still technically...
Touche. Yes, we've definitely talked a lot about Tom Brady. But we've also talked a lot about Odell Beckham Jr., This man just stays in the news at all times. Just when you think we're done with the Odell Beckham saga, John Mara pulls us back in. John Mara, of all people, pulls us back in. And As John says, say quads is getting upset. You wouldn't like his quads when he's mad. But yeah, so John Mara today came out and said that the Giants have not closed the door on Odell Beckham Jr., and he is in favor of signing him if Shane and Dable can make it work. Like, way to put the pressure on Shane and Dable. Like, could you imagine? That's like one of those moves that, like, your boss does that to you. Like, that's a dick move, dude.
Yeah, but it's also, at the same time, I think the three of them know we ain't signing this guy. And it's just kind of like looking at the New York media like, hey, look, we did everything we could and just couldn't make it work.
I feel like what's going on is Mara's like, okay, the team's doing good. The people don't hate me as much. What can we do to go ahead and make the people hate me less? I got it. I'm okay with Beckham. I like Beckham.
Yeah.
It's like it's a publicity move for him, basically.
Yeah, it's like, funny because it's just like you heard everyone likes BJ's and he thought they said OBJ.
What? Oh, BJ's. We're talking about the warehouse, of course.
Yeah,
talking about the warehouse, of course. Everybody loves BJ's warehouse.
Listen, I like getting stuff in bulk at discount.
Who doesn't? Especially BJ's in bulk.
Yeah.
By the way, BJ's, if you'd like to sponsor the show, the email is twogiantgoofballs@mail.com.
You even eat a hot dog when you reach your sponsor.
Alrighty, but yeah, like I said, I think it's a little messed up that John Mara does that. Deb chimes in with, "Does that mean we will see Barkley sign his franchise tag?" Listen, that's all up to that man. It's all up to him and how much of a jerk he wants to be and how much of a big deal he wants to make things. He could wait till the very last minute to sign this thing. He could also still sign and sit out and say, I'm not going to play without a long-term deal. I just don't think that's him. That's not typically of his nature. But I can't blame the man if he decides to go that route. He's one injury away from having his career be done. Let's call it what it is. It's running back.
And this has been a weird year. Wow, I can talk very good today. It's been a weird year.
Hooked on phonics worked for me.
Yay! Well, guys are betting against them, betting on themselves, and it's just teams aren't paying right now. Like, look at Lamar. There was a lot of news about him. I mean, it's not Giants news, but do bet on himself, and doesn't look like he's playing for the Ravens.
Listen, again, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose when it happens. That's what happens there. So, we also have some good news in the Giants front. Evan Neal, who is pretty much, let's be honest, potentially the most important person in this offseason for us. He has gone ahead and working out with former tackle Willie Anderson. For anybody who's familiar with the Bengals, the man played for there for about 30 years, it felt like. I played with them from 96 to 2008. So that's a pretty damn good career. 3-time first-team All-Pro, 4-time Pro Bowler. So, yeah, 13 years and looking at that kind of stuff, that's not bad. He's not a Hall of Famer. He's in the Hall of Very Good. But he's still a legendary player being able to do that kind of stuff in that kind of time frame.
I'm saying the longevity of his careers.
Yeah, exactly. Listen, if Evan Neal became Willie Anderson, sign me up right now.
Yeah.
Sign me the hell up, especially at right tackle. So anyway, he's working with Willie Anderson, and here's a couple quotes from Willie. Sounds weird to say. Quotes from Willie. We're talking about BJ's again. Willie. Groundskeeper Willie. As you wear your Bartman shirt, I got to do it. He says, it's only a matter of time before he is dominant. Anyone who's been around Evan Neal knows he has it. Been around Evan Neal, know he has it. We're playing around with his stance. He'll eventually get into a stance he feels comfortable with. He's going to get it. Now, I look at that and go, okay, great. Here's a big-time guy who's working with him that from all accounts, Evan Neal is the one who reached out to him. So that's all good. But then I also go, wait a minute. Let me pinpoint it, reread this part here, because this is where it gets me. He'll eventually get into a stance he's comfortable with.
Yeah, I mean, that's like, from what I heard, not that I'm not, yeah, what?
Huh?
His big thing, maybe for my butthole.
Well, I wasn't going there. I was going Scooby. Wow.
Ah.
When Beavis and Butthead, you went to a dark place.
Well, you didn't do a good Scooby. Sorry.
No, I was saying the bungle of the draft.
But from a lot of what I've heard is like, depending on how the defense is set up, like sometimes like he switches his foot stance and he doesn't ground himself that well, depending on where the defensive tackle's coming in from. So it's just a matter of reading the defenses and learning how to take your step. Yeah,
and I've heard a lot of things about how this system he wasn't as comfortable with because it was more of a system like a different one than the one he played in college. They played around a little bit with his stances during the season as well, the Giants. So, listen, the one thing I can take from this that I'm happy about no matter what is he's working on it. Because there are some players who won't even recognize the issue. So
it's the fact that he also reached out to Willie. Shows like it's not like all right, team said, hey, maybe you should work with a veteran. If he's reaching out,
reach for Willie.
Oh, great. Talk about reaching for Willie. You get wholesales in all one show in less than 10 minutes.
Oh. It's all about BJ's and Willie so far.
Just so you guys know, this is a two giant goofball podcast.
Oh, yes. We never said we're serious. Let's see. We got another comment from John. He says, if he leaves the attitude diva-ness at home, I take him back. But then Saquon would be like, what the you have no money for me, but you'll bring back that guy and try to marry the field goal net. He also says, what's that sound? Is someone playing under the table? It does sound like there's two jackrabbits going at it for some reason in the background. I'm not sure what that is.
My neighbors are crazy.
It's not my house. That's all I know, Rob. What's going on there? Too much BJ talk, apparently. Yeah. Someone's in rapid motion.
Innocent. Hands up.
But, I mean, I think the big thing is that when you look at that, it depends on what they pay Beckham. If they pay Beckham like a $6-7 million deal, I don't think Saquon's going to be like, what the hell? Now, if they go out and give him a $15 million deal, yeah, he's going to be like, what the hell? And he would be damn right to do it. Yeah. So I think you can look at, if Beckham was to come, if we get the writing on the wall of the scenario, Mara said basically he's got to make it work cap-wise, which means it's going to be a smaller deal.
Yeah.
So that's what I see happening there. It's going to be a smaller deal. It's going to have to be worked out that way if he is to come back. I don't think he's going to come back. I still think that. I still think this is all talk. I think that John Mara just wanted to look like he's the fun, good guy, and that's it.
I think so, yeah.
So, yeah, that's not going to happen, that's for sure. So, alrighty, so let's see. More news around the league, around the Giants, I should say. So the Giants also attended the Penn State Pro Day and talked with center Juice Scruggs. Juice. I just like the name. I got to say, I like the name.
Yeah, 100% sold.
Alrighty, so Sean Payton, new head coach of the Denver Broncos, also said he's seeing the news of possibly trading away Cortland Sutton and or Jerry Jeudy. He said, I see it and read it like everyone else, but we are not trading those two players. So people, give it up.
Yeah.
I keep on seeing guys, we trade this pick for this guy. We trade this. They're not giving him up. They're not going to give Sean Payton this brand new team, a guy who's considered an offensive guru, right or wrong, that's what he's considered in this league, and saying, okay, go for it. Oh, by the way, hold on. Before you start, we're getting rid of both your receivers.
Yeah, the only time you really got a team right now.
Not going to happen. So, all right, we also have some contract details here for some of the Giants. So, Jamison Crowder's contract apparently is a 1-year, $1.3 million. Aurier got a 1-year, $1.1 million. So two of the signings we got there at the end of last week are basically for veteran minimum deals. So what does that mean? They ain't guaranteed a damn thing. We have no clue what's going to happen. They can be cut before the season even begins, and there'll be no issues whatsoever. So that's pretty interesting to see there. We also have news from everybody's least favorite reporter, Pat Leonard, who reports that the Giants have done a lot of homework on John Michael Schmitz. Also, Osiris Torrance. Luke Whippler. Who would have thought that the biggest interior offensive lineman in the draft, the Giants would be looking at them? Who? I'm like, oh, what the hell? I'm in shock here. Whew. Yeah, stop the presses. Page news, front page news. Thank you, Pat Leonard. Your amazing reporting skills. You freaking moron.
Pointed out the obvious. Thanks.
Seriously. Breaking news: the MetLife Stadium removed the turf. They're going to be putting new turf down. Oh, it's amazing. They're going to put new turf down. Who would have thought? I thought they'd just leave it with no turf whatsoever. In all fairness, they'd probably be better off for the ACL injuries and all, that's for sure.
Allegedly.
Oh, yes. Alrighty. So, it's that time, Rob. Oh, yes. Alrighty. So the biggest news there, the biggest news here today is that Lamar Jackson has formally told everybody and their mother that he wants to go ahead and be traded from the Ravens. Apparently, he asked them for a trade back in March 2nd. So it's been about 3 weeks now, 3.5 weeks since he asked for a trade. And obviously, he hasn't been traded yet. So he made it public. It's almost like when you're dating somebody for a while and you switch your status on Facebook to not single. It's like that. Yeah. He's put himself to single instead. Yeah, it's complicated. It's complicated. So, yeah, it's weird to see such a well-run franchise, because let's call them what they are. They're a very well-run franchise. To have these things play out publicly that they're doing right now, that's not normal. That seems like one of the things that the Ravens would be like, you want to play this kind of game? Get the hell out of here. We ain't dealing with this.
Yeah, I mean, it's I agree, but it also takes two to tango, and it looks like no one knows how to take the lead in this situation, and they're both just kind of yelling about it.
Well, I think the big thing is that you hear rumors. I mean, the rumor is he wants a fully guaranteed contract because he's seen it before. Let's be honest. Kirk Cousins got it a couple years ago. Is he a better quarterback than Kirk Cousins?
But Kirk Cousins was also asking for how much money? $220 million? So a quarter of a
billion. He was asking
for,
but he was asking for a big contract at the time, Kirk Cousins. At the time, that was a big contract. You can't compare the money right now because within a couple of years, that stuff changes. DJ would have got $20 million like 5 years ago. So, I mean, that's the life in the NFL. Things keep going up and 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 up. So it's like groceries. So. So, yeah, I mean, the big thing is, like I said, he's seen Kirk Cousins get one. Kirk Cousins is not a better quarterback than Lamar Jackson. He's seen Deshaun Watson now go ahead and get one, which instills this back into his brain at that point. And, you can make the case for Deshaun Watson as far as who's the better quarterback. But based on how they played last year, you want to say the last 2 years, if you want to say the fact that Watson sat out the year before that, you can make the case that Lamar Jackson is the better quarterback as of now, with that the possibility to change later on as things go when, Deshaun Watson potentially gets back to form.
There's definitely a lot of arguments because then you also go look back at the Ravens organization, which is way better than Houston's organization.
Yep.
And probably way better than Cleveland's organization.
Oh, that's not saying much.
I know.
So I mean, the big thing really comes into be is that, is he being ridiculous for wanting something that's not normal? Or, as Richard Sherman, the former cornerback there in the, I think he works for Amazon now with doing their telecasts, he's been complaining and blaming it on guys like Patrick Mahomes, who took more team-friendly deals, didn't, demand a fully guaranteed contract on the reason this is happening. Because he said basically the precedence was set, and then you had guys sign contracts without that after that. They should have been no going back once that was done once. And I can see that point as well.
I see that, but it's a little bit of a stretch.
I would say it this way. I think that the big thing would be that you should go ahead and basically have the option of cutting a player, have it not count against your salary, but you still have to pay the player.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to that either.
I mean, you have to figure out a way so people don't utilize that to, circumvent the system at that point, because everybody will find a way to cheat. It's pretty obvious right now. But, these guys work their freaking tails off. These guys have very short careers. Some of these guys are lucky to even get one chance of free agency or a large contract. So they do deserve every damn bit they want. So, I'm not against this at all about this fully guaranteed contract. Now, if I was a fan of the Ravens, I'd be pretty much pissed off about it because I wouldn't want that. You're taking a lot of risk by doing that. There's got to be a medium somewhere that's fair to the players and to the teams. But I feel like it's weird because the NFL has so much more power than the players does. It's not even funny. And it's the most popular sport out there. It's almost like they just have the weakest union possibly. And, I'm obviously not involved in those unions to know the ins and outs as far as, how the negotiations went. But it just seems like they have a lot less power. Look at the baseball players making, freaking like $40, $50 million a year. And they just trot out there and hit a ball with a stick.
They're also playing, 9 innings.
162 games.
Yeah, a lot longer through the year.
Yeah, but they also don't play for 3 years and they're gone, typically. They also, some of these guys play for 20 years. The really good ones play for 20 years. The really good ones in football play for 10.
Did we just watch a really good quarterback play for 25 years?
Okay, first off, that's not normal. I still think and I'll word it very carefully, I still think he took stuff. I have no proof, obviously. I think he took stuff.
The wheatgrass.
Not just plastic surgery, because that man looks more chiseled at 46 than it did at 20. That's just weird. Just saying.
Really
Got a couple more comments here. John S. Anderson Jr. saw ad that old man Emmitt Smith went to Eagles, but now can't find it, so it must be old fake news there. No, I think that's real news, actually. I heard that's what's happening. No, kidding. I think what you're probably referring to is Ezekiel Elliott mentioned the Eagles as a potential spot to go to, but from what I heard, the Eagles didn't want him. He wanted to go to the Eagles, the Bengals, or the Jets. And I didn't hear the Jets say anything, but I heard the Bengals and the Eagles supposedly have no interest in whatsoever. Ken Cristiano's in the chat as well. I will not put up your thing, Ken, as usual, though, because you put Let's Go Bears, and you know the rule. We do not put up if you're going to say rooting other teams. So I guess you got to go to the first overall pick because that's what you got this year. John S. Anderson Jr., what do you think of 2 number ones and Kenny Pickett to the Ravens? They're not going to trade Lamar Jackson within the division. They're not going to. You'd have to blow them away.
Yeah.
Yes. Like, you'd have to blow them away. It'd be like the Super BJ.
And the Jets are super desperate. They might give that out.
Listen, the Jets are who I would go to in a heartbeat. I'd be like, listen, here, take Zach Wilson, take 2 first-round picks, and let's go.
Yeah, and listen, if things don't work out with Aaron Rodgers, they're going to be trying to figure something out. And that's
here's the thing we get.
That's the team you'd rather get the number ones for because Lamar Jackson is going to be in the league a lot longer. So.
Yeah, but one thing we got to consider, we're talking about this, because, John, keep in mind, he's a restricted free agent. If you really want to give up 2 first-round picks for him, then don't give up Kenny Pickett. Trade Kenny Pickett somewhere else for picks, because you can just sign him to a deal and give up 2 first-round picks. So, because that's what happens if you sign him. You lose 2 first-round picks. So you don't want to give him more. If you want to give him Kenny Pickett at 1, but again, they're not going to trade him within the division. But speaking of other trades with quarterbacks, I know this is going to be one that Deb's going to be very interested in. She loves this talk. Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers and the Jets. So, yeah, they're talking about the trade still, and the rumor is now that the Jets have offered the Packers a 2nd-round pick in exchange for Aaron Rodgers. And I'm still saying the Packers just take what they can get and move on. Just take it. Deb says bye-bye. I know it's her favorite topic. It's her favorite topic.
Yeah, the guy's 39.
Also, for those of you guys who follow us on our Facebook page, if you don't, shame on you, first off. Facebook.com/2GiantGoofballs. We also posted some pictures of the renderings of the new Buffalo Bills proposed stadium as well. And I got to say, it's beautiful. It really is. It's nice. Got the big logo on there and everything. And I really wish... Every single time I see one, I really wish that MetLife Stadium wasn't so goddamn vanilla. It is the most boring stadium in the entire NFL. Like, if it was a bit actor, it'd be Ben Stein. It's just horrible. It's like, there is absolutely no personality, no nothing, and Ken Cristiano is chiming back in again because he knows the Bears are getting a nice stadium soon. They bought a nice plot of land outside of Chicago, and they're going to leave Soldier Field, so he'll have a nicer stadium than this, too. Everybody's got a nicer stadium than this. Our stadium is just freaking big. That's all it is. It's big.
Buckets of money is what it does.
Yeah. It's like getting a Ford Expedition with no bells and whistles. Like, you're getting the most biggest vehicle you possibly can with no bells and whistles whatsoever.
And then you're going over to Buffalo with the Navigator.
They got that's the Escalade right there. That's the Escalade.
You're right.
Yeah. It's that's like I said, it's just a shame. It really is. I really wish we had a better stadium. Fits a lot of people. Give it that. Doesn't look horrible. Give it that, I guess. But look at the ones like Atlanta. Look at the ones in LA. Like, I've seen those stadiums with my eyes. They're freaking gorgeous.
Yeah, Mercedes.
It's not often I'll say a football stadium is gorgeous. Those stadiums are freaking gorgeous. And there we are in our Vanilla Bowl. The most boring stadium known to man. Also the most profitable stadium in the goddamn world. Spend some money, guys. Make it look nice. Do something for the fans. And not just a free medium Coke. That's not enough. Just saying.
You get a nice sign that switches up from Giants to Jets every other week.
Well, that's why they have everything as LCD there, so they can change everything up, and that's cool. I got no problem with that. Change up everything all you want like that. Do that. Like, you got to have versatility in that kind of stadium, because they also do like soccer and other things in there as well. So football and football, but football. You got to go ahead and give it some character. There's no character to that thing whatsoever. Alrighty. So on to our topic of the day. So it'll be an interesting topic here, because when we've been talking about the position. There's Ken again. He says, my late son, best friend, just opened up a sneaker store in American Dream Mall to walk out to have a cig, and MetLife is garbage. Yeah, it is garbage. And what's cool is the American Dream Mall, he's finally opened. It took like 30 years for that mall to open, it felt like. That thing had so many different renditions. The World Cup final will be there as well. Like I said, it's a massive stadium, and that's why it's so popular. I believe it's the second largest capacity, stadium-wise, to the one in Dallas, if I remember correctly by the list I saw there one time. So like I said, that's what it is. But Dallas has, I hate to say it, but a nicer stadium. I mean, look at the massive screens and all the things set up. Like, they made that thing a shrine to the Cowboys, basically. Whereas we have a shrine to making as much money as possible on a piece of land there. That's
talking about making lots of money in Dallas. Did you want to bring up the Pokemon era?
The what?
The Pokemon era.
Oh, we totally forgot about that before we went into the safety thing. Good call. This is more of a pop culture thing here for you guys, but we did incorporate it because I saw somebody else do it on Facebook. I'll admit, so I stole it.
Yeah, a little better than Kenny Rogers for you.
As Ken comes into, says, MetLife is terrible. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So the Pokemon show announced that they'll be ending their series, which started in 1997. This is their last season. And they'll be over before this football season coming up is over. So that guarantees that the Dallas Cowboys and the DC, whatever they were at that exact moment, both will not have been in a Super Bowl or even an NFC championship game in the entire Pokemon era. Think about how long Pokemon have been around for.
Ash Ketchum's been to more bowls than they have.
Yeah, that's crazy. Just puts it in perspective how long it's been since either one of those two teams have won a damn thing.
Yeah.
So, not that I want to pick on DC too much, because everybody else does. It's no fun. But I want to pick on Dallas, because screw you, Dallas. Screw you, Dallas. Okay. You're like the Pikachu that didn't evolve.
We got to get the Moonstone, man.
As John says, Blake Martinez will be upset. He will. Yeah. He could have made another $5 million trading Dallas Cowboy trading cards. Cristiano with a laugh. I guess it's just crazy to think about this stuff. All right, so let's break out into the safeties here. And like I said, this is our first episode we've done with the positional breakdowns since the free agency started. So it's interesting because we talked more in the other ones about who could we sign, who should we re-sign, this kind of stuff. We have a much better idea what's going on now. So let's go over the guys from last year first off. So first off is the dearly departed Julian Love, who's of course left for the Seattle Seahawks. So 124 tackles, 1 sack, 2 interception, 1 forced fumble, 1 fumble recovery in 16 games. Then we had Xavier McKinney, 45 tackles, 1 sack, 1 forced fumble in 9 games. Dane Belton, the rookie, 15 games, 31 tackles, 2 interceptions, 2 forced fumbles. Tony Jefferson. So this is the guy who wants to supposedly convert to a linebacker next year. 23 tackles in 9 games. And, of course, you can also say Landon Collins-ish. I mean, we don't know where to put him. We talked about him in the linebacker episode, but he kind of goes in this conversation. You know, he's kind of like, he's a tweener. He is a tweener. So
I mean, if he stays, he's definitely going to be more linebacker than safety next year as he gets another.
So should he stay or should he go now?
Because if he goes, it'll be trouble.
But if he don't, it will be double.
Double tackles, hopefully.
So let's go through these lists here. So we know Julian Love already gone. That's a done. Xavier McKinney still signed. He ain't going nowhere. Dane Belton still signed. He ain't going nowhere. Tony Jefferson wants to be a linebacker, so he's gone. Landon Collins wants to come back, but you know, in the end, we really need him. You know, and then there's one other guy we almost forgot here. I can't believe I didn't put him on our list here. Jason Pinnock with 41 tackles here, 1.5 sacks as well. And I think if you look right now, we have 4 safeties already signed for this season. So you got McKinney, you got Belton, you got Jason Pinnock, and you also have the new addition we picked up, Bobby McCain, who, you know, not to be confused with Bobby McFrain, the don't worry, be happy guy. So 76 tackles, 1 forced fumble, 17 games. True veteran, about 30 years old. And I really think the plan is for them going forward is we want Dane Belton to start because he's the rookie. Call it what it is. You want the rookie to start. You want him to get the time. You want him to be a pick that worked out. He's a 4th round pick. So you want him to be the guy. And then from there, obviously Xavier McKinney. So those are your 2 hopeful starters. Now, if Dane Belton doesn't get his poop together, you got Bobby McCain. You got Jason Pinnock. You got 2 veterans that can start in his place if he can't get his stuff together.
Yeah, well, it is. And then, I mean, McKinney was a solid piece back there for us anyway. It's about his health in his hand. Like, you know, how well is he going to play with that? You know, because he was 100% in the playoffs with that hand. So hopefully, like, he's not a new JPP.
Speaking of not playing with his hands, John S. Anderson, wait, let me cut my condom on. Safety first.
Always wear your hard hat.
Gotta wear your rubber booties just in case it rains. But yeah, I mean, I think that's, and you know, usually we go over in these episodes here, like, who do we think is going to be the one going forward? Who do you think we sign? And I'm looking at this room going, we already got 4 guys. Are we really going to sign anybody else?
Probably not. If anything, depending on, you know, positional, like what's the end of the draft, you might get something to, you know, get an extra body in that way.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I think that's it. Is you'll get a lower end free agent or you'll get a late round draft pick that you can stash in the practice squad if you have to.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not going to go over those kind of guys. You're talking 6th, 7th round guys. Like, you guys really want to talk about 6th, 7th round guys? Those guys might not even make it out of the practice squad. Make it out of the practice squad. They might not even make it out of camp.
This is definitely not a problem we have that we need to throw money at.
No.
There's other issues.
Do not throw money at it. There are plenty of other issues that we need to fix with money. This is not one of them. So I guess the big question is, you know, as we're talking about safeties, obviously the big change is going to be not having Julian Love. So the question comes into be is, how much of a loss is that?
I think it's going to affect us, but I don't think it's going to be something that it's going to devastate us. Like, Julian Love did play well, and he did step up for McKinney when he got hurt.
He did.
And he did this decent, you know, being the guy with the mic.
But I think we talked about this obviously when we lost him, as far as the missing of him as well there. But I think the big thing that can't be overlooked is he had 124 tackles, but how many of those we had no linebackers?
Yeah.
That's what it boils down to. We were not a good run defense. And what happens when we're not a good run defense? You give up yards. And when you give up 5-6 yards on a run, who's the guy to stop that running back?
Yeah, when you give up 20
the strong
yards.
Safety.
So
and that's the role he was playing. So, like I said, I don't want to be that guy that this player leaves and all of a sudden we're talking trash about him and saying he was not that good. Julian Love's a good player, guys. He's a very good player. Yeah. He's not a Pro Bowler. He's not irreplaceable. So we can say with reverence and the fact that we're proud of the job he did for us, we're proud of the growth he showed. But we can also put it in a realistic, perspective and go, yeah, he should have signed with us in the midseason. Instead, he didn't take that money, and now we have to look elsewhere. So
now he's making less money.
Yeah. I mean, the rumors were he was offered like $8 million a year in like a 3-year deal. Instead, he got 2 years, $12 million at the Seahawks. So,
Sneaky Pete.
And he wanted to stay with us because he offered us the chance to match it, and we turned it down. So it tells you the staff did not think enough of him to pay him $6 million a year, guys.
After getting offered $8 million.
It makes you wonder, did they see something when they're watching the tape? They see something later in the season?
It's either that or something personnel-wise happened behind the scenes that we don't know about.
Yeah, or either that or like he gave them a deadline and they couldn't free up that money, that deadline. He might have said, hey, you have 24 hours. And like, well, we don't got the money to pay. Goodbye.
It could have been something like that as well.
That's not unreasonable to think of considering everything that's been going on this offseason. We've been basically toting the line with the free agency money the whole time. We've had a lot of guys to re-sign. We've had a lot of players we've signed as well. So, yeah, I mean, who knows behind the scenes what happened there? We'll probably know in a couple of years is how it usually works. God forbid one of the reporters for the Giants actually gets a scoop for us.
Right.
We're arguing for that one,
just
Pat
come
Leonard.
right on the podcast.
Pat Leonard was spending too much time confirming that they were interested in the top centers and guards in this draft.
Yeah.
You schmuck. But yeah,
Giants fans, every time the Giants play away, another team plays in your stadium.
Our shitty stadium.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, I think it's going to be interesting to see how that works out because I think the Giants are counting on Dane Belton to grow. They're counting on Jason Pinnock to be a little bit better as well, obviously, his second year in the defense. And they're counting on Bobby McCain to kind of be a Swiss Army knife, which is weird because that's the nickname that Joe Judge gave Julian Love last, not this past season, obviously, he wasn't there the year before that, though, in 21. And that's what McCain is. He's been a guy who's played corner on the outside. He's played slot corner. He's played both safety positions. He is a true Swiss Army knife at the secondary.
Yeah. Now he's got to play corkscrew.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think this group next year is going to depend 100% on how much does Dane Belton improve. If Dane Belton becomes a legit player, not even an amazing player, just a good player, then this group has improved because Pinnock's going to improve having the second season with us. I do think that Bobby McCain is an upgrade over Tony Jefferson, Landon Collins, those guys.
I would have to agree.
So, in the end, the big common theme here is, can Dane Belton get better? And I gotta say, I wasn't impressed with the guy too much. I really wasn't. There was nothing he did that I was like, okay, that was bad. I don't like him now. Like, there was nothing like that. I just would watch the tape, and I'd watch what the Giants were doing, and I'd be like, hold on a second. Where's Dane Belton? Why is Jason Pinnock on the field? Why is Tony Jefferson on the field? Why is Dane Belton not able to beat out guys who were one that was cut by the Jets? And one that's in his 30s got cut by the Ravens. You should be able to beat those guys out.
Should be. I mean, also a lot of scheme of things. It depends on what week was feeling. So,
Yeah. And that might be his thing as well. He might say, you know what, screw it. I'm just going to change up that position, the safety position, and see who plays with McKinney based on the team we play that week. I can see that as well. Get a more pass-happy team. Yeah. Bobby McCain goes in. Get a team that goes ahead and, wants to run the ball down your throat, put Jason Pinnock in there. I can see that kind of defense going. That'd be exactly what Wink would do.
100%.
So, like I said, I think it's safe to say that, like I said, that we're pretty much set at this position. Like I said, we'll probably get a one or two camp bodies, whether it's a cheap free agent or a late round, like a 7th-round pick or something like that, or maybe a 6th-round pick. Obviously, we might want a guy who specializes in special teams, even that can occasionally pop in as a safety, like a Michael Thomas kind of guy. I would say a Nate Ebner, but nobody wants to hear that name after losing Michael Thomas because of him. Joe Judge, you moron. But yeah, like I said, it's nice that for once we're going over a group. Like, yeah, we're pretty good.
You feel pretty sad about this group.
Yeah, but yeah, pretty good. That's how often have we said that?
This is the first time we've done that.
I think so. It's like weird. It's a weird feeling. I should go mad and go rah for no apparent reason. Like,
yeah.
I want to do that.
Wait a minute.
Get off my lawn.
Rabble.
But yeah, I mean, like I said, it's hard to go ahead and complain considering where we're at and considering where the Giants have been at the last couple of years, folks. So, like I said, expect those 4 to be there. Expect 1 or 2 other smaller name guys that mean nothing special to join up. And expect the position to be ready to go. Because that's what it is. It's basically, like I said, the same exact squad we had last year. But Dane Belton now in his 2nd year. And Bobby McCain instead of Julian Love. John goes, I know Roberto has a Bartman shirt. What's yours say? Ask me about... Oh, it says, ironically, it says... Here we go. I'll even get up for you guys. It says, ask me about my podcast. Ask me about my podcast. Yes. Oh, are you not familiar with my podcast, Rob? It's called Two Giant Goofballs.
I'll have to give it a listen.
It's available live on Facebook. It's available live on Twitter, and it's available live on YouTube. We typically shoot every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, about 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Yeah, it's even available afterwards if you can't watch it live. It's also available, of course, on all of the podcast platforms known to man. I pretty much haven't come across one we're not on. So, and of course, it's also got sponsorships available at buymeacupofcoffee.com/2giantgoofballs. Again, that's buymeacupofcoffee.com/2giantgoofballs. Look at that segue there. Look at that segue you got going there, Rob. You just went right into it like a pro. Look at that man. It's a pro. If that man doesn't deserve a cup of coffee now for that professional segue there. But yeah, so guys, we're going to be back on Wednesday night. We're going to go over the special teams, which is the last of the positional groups we have to go over. So we're going to couple everything together. Kick return, punt return, kick coverage. We're going to go ahead and go over, obviously, kicker, punter. And for those who haven't guessed, I'm going to have some few choice words about our punter. So John comes in. Okay, I do ask you about podcast. I'm wearing Mike Tyson shirt. Everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. Well, yeah.
Punched in the mouth.
It's hard. It's hard to plan around Mike Tyson punching you with the mouth. It really is. It's just Yeah,
it's called taking a nap. Plan for that.
It's called Don't Take His Tiger. Don't take his tiger.
Oh God.
So yeah, guys, like I said, we'll be back again on Wednesday, and then after that, we're gonna have to start going into our draft talk here. And what I think we're gonna start doing is going over kind of a pros and cons of this player versus that player kind of scenario for guys that might be available for us, based on position, and kind of hone in where we think we're gonna go here in the first couple of rounds. Because I could talk all day long about late round picks, but in the end, it all depends on who gets picked in front of you. So the big focus is going to be more obviously on the first round picks. We have a little more idea of who's going to be available and who is a legit first round talent. And then we'll take it from there. Of course, during the draft, we will be on live the entire first round. We'll be on live the entire second and third round on day 2. And of course, we'll be on live. We'll be on live, I guess, but not live during the draft on day 3. We'll kind of give you guys a rundown episode instead. That's Saturday. Because let's be honest, there's only so many hours you can talk about the punter from Morehead State or something like that. That got the motivational speech from Phil Simms or whatever.
From Christian Brothers University.
Yeah, from Texas West Christian A&M University Technical Institute.
Our punter went to online school. This is amazing.
Yes, he's a Phoenix. This guy went to a tech school. How did he get drafted? John says, "Where's Daddy at today? He's getting colon check." No, he has a life outside of here as well. He does miss the occasional episode. It's actually my sister's birthday this week too, so he's probably a little busy with that as well. So, but yeah, the best of my knowledge, my father's colon is just fine, John. I appreciate you asking and being concerned about his health, though. All right, guys. So again, guys, we'll be available again, like I said, on Wednesday here, talking about special teams. And we'll be going over, like I said, for you guys, all the draft stuff going forward after that. So keep an eye out. And the best way to keep an eye out is to go ahead and hit the like, hit the subscribe on every single podcast platform you can, every single social media podcast platform you can. And the easiest way, guys, is hit the bell on YouTube. That's the one that really is the easiest one, because the guys I follow that are on YouTube, when they go live, I get the notification right on my phone saying, "Hey, guess who's live?" Because most people don't do it during specific times of the day. The other option, obviously, is, you can go ahead and just set your alarm on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, because, like I said, we do that pretty much very consistently. And I do that trying to make it easy for you guys to listen, because I know you guys got things to do. I want to make sure we can kind of help you guys schedule around everything there. And, of course, if you guys are listening on podcast platform, feel free to pop on one of the live ones here. Give a little comments. Give John some company and Deb some company, and Ken,
Bruce,
and
Dad.
My dad, and all the people that are popping here on a regular basis. But again, guys, as always, we appreciate you taking the time out of your day here to listen to what these goofballs have to think about the New York Giants. We know you got a lot of options where to get your news from. We appreciate you chose this. We're still confused on why you did, but we're glad nonetheless. So, again, guys, thank you very much for listening. And as always,
Go G-Man!
go G-Man!
G-Man.
Thanks for listening to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. We appreciate your support. If you made it this long, you must have enjoyed it. So I am sure you have followed us on all the social media platforms. Of course, you have subscribed to the show on your favorite app as well and given us a top rating. Right? Right? Right?